Welcome into Seahawks Today. I'm your host, Will Ortner, and we need to dive into the historic season that wide receiver Jaxon Smith-Njigba is having up in Seattle, and he's proving all of the haters wrong because going into this year, everyone was talking about, can Jaxon Smith-Njigba do it without the greatness that is DK Metcalf, and I think that Jaxon Smith-Njigba is showing everybody that, well, his light might just shine a little bit brighter. We're going to dive into all the numbers that you need to know. But before we do that, we need to let you know about the most important number here at Seahawks Today, and that is the road to 75K. We are closing in on it. I would love to get there before October. Right now, we're just over 860 new subscribers away from that 75K goal. So if you haven't had a chance to subscribe. If you have already subscribed and you have friends that are Seahawk fans, you want to make sure that you send the link over to them so they can subscribe as well. They don't want to miss out on any of the free Seattle Seahawks content that we have coming out every single day here on the channel. So, could JSN repeat his success from last year was a big question that you saw a lot of experts asking around the NFL. Obviously, DK Metcalf is a very good receiver in the National Football League, and he had a very good career as a Seattle Seahawk. But there was a belief in Seattle that Jaxon Smith-Njigba could be an even better receiver than him, and not everyone in the NFL saw that. They viewed JSN as the Robin to DK Metcalf's Batman. So when he was traded away to Pittsburgh, the question was, would JSN be able to live up to what he did before as a wide receiver one? And I think when you look at the 2024 stats compared to the 25 stats, he has done that and much, much more. I mean, he already almost has more receiving yards in 2025 through 7 games as he did in 2024 through 17. The other number that I think is eye-popping is the fact that he almost has doubled his yards per game. Now, some of that is because Jaxon Smith-Njigba is getting more targets in the Seattle Seahawks Clint Kubiak offense. At the same time, he is doing more with less. He is finding a way to get open more consistently. He is finding a way to beat the defender that is by him. He is flourishing in this new role as wide receiver one with the Seattle Seahawks. And for whatever reason, after that first to second year, there is typically the largest bump for most NFL players. But for Jaxon Smith-Njigba, that bump seems to be the year 2 to year 3 bump. Because right now, despite having a bye week and despite having the day off, he still leads the NFL in receiving yards through week 8 by almost 100 yards. That's insane. JSN is ahead of Jamar Chase, Puka Nacua. Now, Nacua did have an injury, so he's missed some time. Justin Jefferson. Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson were listed as 1-2 in the NFL and wide receivers in every expert. When they have their list, those are the top 2 guys. And JSN is miles ahead of both of them. At this point, he's already broken some of DK's records. DK Metcalf had the previous franchise record for most yards through 7 weeks. JSN almost beat it by 200. 680 to 819. I've been very impressed with everything that JSN has been doing for your Seattle Seahawks, but I think the thing that is most impressive is the consistency. It isn't, well, he had a big 300-yard game against the New Orleans Saints. It isn't, well, he's had a couple of deep routes that have allowed him to get open and Sam Darnold has found him. No, he's winning the short routes. He's winning the medium routes. He's winning the deep routes. You look at his last 3 games, 8 receptions in all of them, over 120 yards in all of them, and a touchdown. That's the other one where JSN has really grown in leaps and bounds. He's becoming a red zone target for Sam Darnold. Little old Jaxon Smith-Njigba, the small receiver out of Ohio State, comes up being one of the biggest roles on your Seattle Seahawks. Now, if you look through the last 3 games, JSN is averaging 8 receptions and 120 yards and a touchdown per these games, or over it, I guess I should say. He is the 21st player in NFL history to accomplish that feat. Only 20 other wide receivers in the NFL have put up a stat line like that for 3 straight weeks. Only 4 of them have done it through 4 weeks. So that means on Sunday night against the fake Washington Commanders, fake because we are the real Washington, JSN has an opportunity to tie the NFL record for most consecutive 8 receptions, 120-yard, 1 touchdown games in NFL history. He's doing it week in and week out. It doesn't matter if you put a big corner on him, JSN will run by him. Derek Stingley, Houston Texans star cornerback, he was supposed to be the Jaxon Smith-Njigba stopper. Everybody talked about how well he could run in the slot with him. He'd be able to jump just as high as JSN for 50-50 balls. JSN was not going to get open. Kid still goes for 128 and a tud. Unbelievable. Now, as good as the year has been, there's still a lot of records that Jaxon Smith-Njigba can reach. We're on pace for a truly historic season, not just when it comes to breaking Seahawks records, not just when it comes to breaking NFL records, but all time. We're talking about a couple of feats that maybe JSN could reach that no one has ever reached before. But before I get into those historic records that he is in play for, I do want to ask you, predict how many yards Jaxon Smith-Njigba will have in the year 2025. At the end of this season, when it's all said and done, where do you think JSN is going to rank? I'll let you know where I think he'll end up. But before I do that, I need to let you know about the sponsor of today's video, and that is Prize Picks. This episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. The hard-hitting football action is even better with Prize Picks. The weather might be changing, but the feeling of being right never gets old. So keep the season rolling on Prize Picks by getting $50 instantly in lineups when you play your first $5. Prize Picks is simple to play. Just pick more or less on any 2 to 6 player stat projections. And if your picks are right, you could cash in. Prize Picks invented the flex play, which means you can still cash out if your lineup isn't perfect. You can double your money even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Prize Picks is the best way to win cash this football season. Which players are going off? Which ones are overhyped? Make your picks in less than 60 seconds and turn your takes into cash all season long on Prize Picks. I have a 2-pick power play for the Monday night action. Marcus Mariota, less than his passing yards. Patrick Mahomes, less than his passing yards. Love the defenses in that one. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. It's good to be right. Now, can Jaxon Smith-Njigba break the NFL receiving yards record? Calvin Johnson said it back in 2012. And it is a bit bold for me to come here basically halfway through the season and say, yeah, JSN is going to be able to do it. He's going to come in and he's going to break all of the records that Calvin Johnson has set. But he is on pace to do it. Right now, JSN is on pace for a 1,989-yard receiving season. Calvin Johnson's was 1,964 yards receiving in 2012. Now, I do want to make sure that I make this clear. Calvin Johnson would be doing it in one less game. So that means his yards per catch would be higher. His average yards per game would be higher. But the total would go to JSN if he's able to keep up this pace. And as I kind of go through the roster, go through the Seahawks, who is going to be defending JSN, who is going to be throwing the ball to Jaxon Smith-Njigba, and I truly don't see right now how he gets slowed down for more than maybe 1, maybe 2 games. I mean, the kid is winning in the slot. He's winning in screen passes. He's winning bubble screens. He's winning tunnel screens. He's getting open. Against the Arizona Cardinals, they shut him down for 3 quarters, but then when the Seahawks needed him most, the dude pops up and is an absolute animal. Big catches against the 49ers. Derek Stingley Jr. is supposed to shut him down. Cannot shut him down. Sam Darnold clearly has a favorite target. He's clearly feeding the beast, finding a way to get the ball to JSN. Jalen Ramsey, a guy who's probably going to be an NFL Hall of Famer, could not slow him down. So much to the point where he had to move on and was covering Cooper Kupp for most of that game. Jaxon Smith-Njigba is a special, special player, and he's living up to the heights that a lot of people, I think, thought he could reach coming out of Ohio State. I don't think that he is going to beat Calvin Johnson's record. I know he is. as long as Jaxon Smith-Njigba stays healthy, he is going to go over 2,000 yards this year. I know it's a little bit of apples to oranges, but I just want you to follow with me on this for a second. Remember when Russell Westbrook was in line to have the first ever triple-double average season with the Oklahoma City Thunder? Now, he was barely going to get there. He was on pace to get it in rebounds by like 10.01 rebounds per game. So for the last month, what happened? The Oklahoma City Thunder made sure that Russell Westbrook got the rebounding stats that he needed. That's what I think your Seattle Seahawks are going to do, because we want records to be broken. We want good things for our teammates, especially for a person like Jaxon Smith-Njigba, who is a good teammate, who's a guy who's going to ride for his boys, who's going to continue to play as hard as he possibly can. I've been very impressed with him as a professional. He is going to get to 2,000 yards. He will be the very first one. As long as there isn't a crazy injury to him or Sam Darnold, JSN's getting to 2,000 yards this year. He is going to rewrite the NFL record book. No one can guard him. He's a special, special player, and I am so thankful that he's in Seattle with us. I told you about the road to 75K. We are so close. I want to get there by the end of October. What a great Halloween treat, surprise, whatever you want to insert here is if Seahawks Today can get to that 75K mark. We just need 860 more subscribers. I think that's very much possible. In fact, we've done it here in one day. I'm going to say that we can do it by the end of October. Let's make sure that we get there. And as always, thank you guys so much for tuning in.